Hello and welcome back to the YouTube channel for OQLIS, the Data Insights people. Today we will explore data writebacks with a drop-down option. This will help you to create or update records in your database with data consistency, meaning we only allow specific values that we have predetermined to be inserted or updated into our database table. What you see on screen is a completed example of what we're going to recreate today. And what I mean by data consistency, or allowing the user to only select predetermined values, is if, say, for instance, we wanted the user to be able to change or update the name column in this table. We have only allowed the user to choose one of these options via a drop-down. Once selected, we can update the table in the database itself. And this is what we're going to do today. To get started, you will have already needed to create a connection inside OQLIS. Once you have done that, we are going to create a new data model on that connection. First, we want to select the connection of our database. We also want to have an access level for this data. And finally, we want to go and select from the table which we are interested in. Let's just run a quick select just to check the data. And there we are. This is our table with the data that we're interested in. Let's save that quickly. I'm going to call this drop-down test. Save. And there we go. Saved it. From here, we will want to set up a data grid to view and edit this data. We'll want to come to Explore for that. Now we select the data model we just created. I like to use the search function here. So if I click here and then type in the name I'm looking for, up it pops. Now these are the columns we have, and I'm going to drag them to group. First ID. I'm going to select my data grid option so that the data is displayed, and then carry on dragging just to where I want them. I'd like name there. Yeah, age is good here. And then address. Perfect. I'm also going to sort it by ID just to have it in a nice order. I'm going to choose ascending. I'm going to run that. And there you go. This is the data inside that table, which we have just selected from. Now, to make this data editable, we will need to come to this gear icon here and click it. If we have a look here, we have plot and editing. We want to be able to edit. So we're going to click on editing. And here we go. We say enable data grid editing. Yes, we want that. Do we want to allow adding? Of course, we want to be able to add maybe to these blank spaces here. Do we want to allow updating? Yes, we want to allow updating just in case we want to change this here. Do we want to allow deleting? No, I'm going to leave it as no, but just to show you, a little delete icon does pop up and you can delete the rows if you wish, but I'm going to leave that as no. Now we need to specify the fields that we want the user to be able to edit. I'm only going to give them access to one column to edit. You can specify more if you wish, but I'm going to specify just the name column here. Now we need to specify the exact values we want our users to be able to use to update or insert back into our table. For that, we need to come down to drop-down edit JSON. Here we're going to specify the exact values our users will be able to use in a drop-down method. This is a simple JSON structure. It specifies the editable field, which is name, and then an array of strings that we wish our user to be able to use when interacting with this table. You might be interested in knowing how to do this for more than one field. To do that, we would just specify the second field, let's say age with a comma. So we put a comma there, and then the field we wish to also edit. And then the JSON values would look like this. Here we can see that we still have the name field with an array of values, string values, and the age field with an array of values we wish to be present. And if we have a look here, that would have changed. Here are our values, which we can select. But today, we are going to keep it super simple and just have one editable field. So this is looking pretty good so far. Let's go and save this so long. I'm going to call this just drop down test. And we're going to click save here. And I'm going to create a new dashboard. You can add this to an existing dashboard. For me, I'm going to create a dashboard, also called, may as well just call it drop down test. And I need to specify a tab name. If you don't know what to put, just put main and click add. Right, now we have our dashboard and our Explore inside our dashboard where we would want the user to be able to edit the name field here. But we don't actually know where this will edit yet. So we need to go and link this Explore to the database table to allow us to know exactly which database table and column you wish to update when the user changes this value here. And to do that, we are going to need to come to components. So let's click on component, then click on add new button. And we are going to name our component name dropdown test. And we want to have the data grid write back option selected. Then we want to click on save. Here is where we're going to link the Explore and the table with our editable field so that we know when a user updates something in that dashboard, it knows how to update the table and where to update the table. So let us go choose our Explore, which we created as drop-down test. Now we need to go and find our table, which we want to update from our database, which is also called drop-down test. And these have these fields inside them. So these are the columns inside the table. We only want one of these fields to be editable. So we'll click name here. If we want to specify more, we can. We can select age there or even address, but we're keeping this very simple and only selecting name. Here we are going to map fields to columns inside the table. And sometimes this is necessary if we alias a column as a different name. So if you have aliased your ID column, for instance, as primary key, you would have to specify that this maps to ID maps to primary key or vice versa. So we want that like that. Let's quickly just add all of these, click add. We can leave it like this, but let's just specify all of them, how it maps. Fantastic, that looks good. And now once we've done with that, we click update component. That saves everything. Now it reloads and just checks. Yeah. And now we can finally edit the fields on the dashboard and it will update the table in the database. Let's go check that that's working now. So let's navigate to our dashboard. Let's drop down test. All right. And now I don't like these empty values, so I'm going to say person 1 and why not person 3. And we can see that in green, this is highlighted because there is a change that has been fired. We've detected a change in the data here. We can always revert this If we click discard, this will discard the changes. Let's just show you how that works. It disappears. So let's go do that again. Person 1, person 3. And if we click save here, this will now go and update the table inside the database. So let's click save. And this is now changed. But let's go and check inside our data model here. We'll go and select the data from the table just to make sure that this indeed did update. So let's go find our data model, drop down test, and this just selects everything for us. So let's run that and see. There we go. And as we can see now, we don't have any missing values in our name column. So it did go and write back to our database and to our table on that change, which is pretty awesome. If you found this video useful, please leave a like and subscribe so that you can be updated on our latest features and new videos that we do publish often, keeping you up to date all things OQLIS. Thanks. Cheers.